The last time trucks competed in Spanish Valencia was in 2001. Now they are back, and with them, the whole FIA European Truck Racing Championship.
2015 season start now in Valencia. That's the first news of the year, but we will have also some other news. Last year it was, since 3 years, Jochen the number one, and now number one is Norbert Kies. Norbert Kies, young Hungarian driver, want to keep his number one, and for sure it will make a show. But don't forget also, then we will have Bugira, and Bugira can play a real game this year, because with the resign of MAN, it gives them more chance, because not official support from MAN anymore, and it will distribute again the car. But also we can't forget the Mercedes of tank pool team. We will engage 2 trucks this year with some good driver, and also of course the Iveco from Gerd Korber and Altan Strasser. All these things will make for sure a very nice season 2015. We will have fight on the track and nice sport around the racetrack, and I'm sure it's an exciting, and it will be an exciting season.
Before the trucks get going at full throttle, let's take a quick look at last year's season. It was truly exceptionally interesting. The biggest audience, needless to say, in the German Nürburgring. 170,000 spectators came to see the trucks. In comparison, only over 50,000 people came to the nearby Hockenheim for a Formula One event. Nürburgring, that's one great feast. The best show? That's quite clear. Nighttime Le Mans is unparalleled in this category. The best air show was seen at the Red Bull Ring. After all, Hannes Arch, an aerobat and world champion, is an old hand in his discipline. The liveliest grandstand, where else than in Spanish Jarama? Endless enthusiasm and screeching past all. Greatest applause for Antonio Albacete again in Jarama. The experienced Spaniard fought for the title in vain, but he surely felt like a rock star in front of his spectators. The commissioners have tightened up still more on safety. There are constant checkups on virtually anything. And the male and female drivers have to get used to having their underwear checked every now and then. Each piece of flame-resistant clothing must be approved. The pilots make fun of the checks, but the commissioners take their job seriously. Out of all the motorsports, it's in truck racing where spectators can get closest to the racing cars and their pilots. Something like that is inconceivable in Formula One racing, and in some races, enthusiastic crowds are even allowed right to the starting grid, just before the start. At other venues, trucks set out to meet the spectators in the city center. Race organizers in French Nogaro are particularly skilled in that. Wine, fun, autographs, good mood. Everyone's enjoying the fun. Women and girls, there are more and more of them in the masculine world of trucks nowadays, and they no longer serve the usual decorative function. Then nobody wonders when a woman holds a high post in the jury, for instance. Still, girls, as a delight for the eye, are a better sight. There has probably never been such a dramatic fight for the title. 3 drivers were fighting it out for the overall lead from the first to the last race, all of them in MANs. Jochen Hahn, The German has won 3 titles in a row, so quite naturally, he was now confident as well. Hahn took the lead after the opening event in Italian Misano, but later on, he seemed to be losing strength a bit. Antonio Albacete, in the last 3 seasons, he finished as the runner-up behind Hahn 3 times. On the last occasion, trailing only by 5 points. Most of the year, either the Spaniard or Kish were in the lead. Albacete was a reliable finisher. Only he and Latsko succeeded in finishing in all the 36 points races. Yet, it wasn't enough. Norbert Kish, before the final race in Le Mans, the points difference among himself, Hahn and Albacete was a mere 7 points. When you realize that as many as 60 points can be won over the weekend, this was a paltry gap. Kish ran up a point deficit at Most and dropped to the 3rd place. But his finish was devastating. In his 4th trucking season, the temperamental Hungarian grabbed the first title. What are the pilots to expect in the new season?
I expect this year will be very hard because of the new point system, because the second races will mean the same number of points than like the first race. So it's very hard because we cannot ease on the second race, because usually if you fight for the championship you have to win the first race, and then in the second race you could take it a little bit easy, but not anymore.
We don't have the support from MAN anymore this season, so I think it's going to be quite difficult for us. But anyway, we will see. We have to wait and keep going.
It's a hard winter time, and we come back to fight again for the title.
One qualifying practice session of 15 minutes for all the trucks, and after that, one qualifying practice session of 10 minutes called Super Pole, only for the 10 trucks that set the best times during the first part. In the season's first qualifying practice, German Jochen Hahn in an MAN was the fastest. The FIA European Truck Racing Championship, the opening points race of the year. No wild racing at the beginning. Each pilot has undergone a huge number of test rides, but the very first direct confrontation with the competitors, that's a completely different cup of tea. The starting ranks reflect the results of the qualifying practice. Jochen Hahn, number 2 at the top. Defending champion Norbert Kish with number 1 behind him, both in MANs. Adam Latsko is 3rd. The Czech driver in his Bulgaria number 55 finished 4th overall last year. The Valencia racing course was opened in 1999, named after Ricardo Tormo, a local native, 2 times motorcycling world champion. This is a stadium-type circuit with an imposing capacity of 65,000 spectators. Virtually every seat gives a good view of the entire track, which is, however, more suitable for motorcycles. The giant trucks find a place for overtaking only with great difficulty. After 11 laps, Hahn is first, ahead of Kish and Latsko.
I win. I'm very happy. It's the first race in the season. Behind me, it's big fights. I win a little bit from this point. Behind me, it's the fight. So I'm alone, and from this side, I'm very happy.
The pilots are busy all the time. As a result, time runs fast between the races. The second race of the day, so-called handicap race. The A best-placed drivers from the previous race swapped their position. As a result, starting from pole position is Ellen Law, number 12, and Anthony Janier, he wears number 8. However, Ellen, the only lady in the competition, doesn't keep her lead for long. It's Janier who comes ahead. The Frenchman is a true master of defense driving, but he has Albacete on his heels. The local driver, widely supported by the spectators, naturally wants to show himself in the best light. And Antonio takes the lead. The Spaniard is one of the few pilots who competed here 14 years ago, then behind the wheel of today's non-existent class of super trucks. But he has no luck today. His left rear tire is flat after one of the duels. Antonio is falling behind. The German driver Rennen, number 7, takes the lead. And what follows is one superb overtaking after another. Bad luck for Hahn. His brake cooling liquid is suddenly gushing out impressively into the hot Spanish air. Jochen tries to keep going, but in the end he has to go to the pit line to solve the problem. Norbert Kisch is now in the lead, and he's doubly happy. For the first time this year, a full number of points is awarded for the handicap race. Half of the points were given last year. Kisch, Reinen, Latsko.
I guess it was kind of lucky, but I will want to see the official results, you know, because there was a lot of trouble during the race. I mean, it was just crazy, you know, like usually the second races are.
Sunrise over Valencia. Another beautiful day ahead, and another portion of truck racing. Sunday's qualifying practice finished like this. Flying start. Norbert Kisch, number 1, immediately gets to the top. 2 Czech-German duels are being fought out on the track. Jochen Hahn and Adam Latsko battling for the second place. The Czech driver in Bagheera number 55 was third twice yesterday, and he's keen on improving his position. He was pushing Hahn for so long that in the end he cleanly got ahead. For his part, David Vršecký in Bagheera number 33 was fourth twice yesterday. He is now fighting for the same place with René Reinert in MAN number 7, successfully. But there are breathtaking duels fought out behind the medalist positions as well. Kisch, Latsko, Hahn.
Start was hard as always, but I could get away in front, and then Johan and Adam started to fight behind me, so that made it easy for me because, you know, I could do my own rhythm, and you know, they were fighting and slowing each other down, so that made it easy for me. So again, kind of lucky.
The Spanish fans are still lacking something. Their hero has not yet finished on the podium this weekend. He'll have the last chance now. The final race of the day. Finally, the 21,000 spectators are happy. The red MAN number 23 goes into the lead. In the past 10 seasons, Antonio Albacete has always finished among the best 3. This year, his start leaves something to be desired. Thanks to his excellent start, Vršecký in a Bagheera takes the second place, but the 2 times European champion succumbs to the pressure put by a 3 times champion, Jochen Hahn in MAN number 2 moves into the silver position. Pressure on the leading Albacete is very strong, with Hahn attacking at every opportunity. But the 50-year Spaniard is hanging on with all his strength. The situation on the finish line is Albacete first, Hahn second, and Wyszecki third.
First thing was David was pushing a little bit harder, you know, but I tried to keep him behind. And then I saw Jochen and it was difficult, but I'm happy for the whole team. Antonio! Thank you. Because it's been very, very hard, you know, so happy for the victory.
The Czech Bagheera had the best start in the team classification. There'll be more trucks, more brands, more pilots, and hopefully more trucking fights at the Austrian Red Bull Ring.